about these at the Obama Foundation on both sides. So, Mr. President, you said you wanted to talk about hopes, dreams, and anything that was on the mind of our young men of color. So our next question is from Leo, and he wants to talk about music.
Okay, Leo.
Mr. President.
How are you, Leo?
I'm well, I'm well.
Good, you look good.
Welcome to the city, you know what I mean?
Thank you, sir.
So one thing that connected us is that I know that you love music.
Love music.
I watched an interview where you said that Kendrick's album was better than Drake's.
Well, why are you stirring stuff up now?
I'm curious to know why, but more importantly, what role does music have on your life, and what role can music have when it comes to liberation, policy change, social change, and all those other items?
Okay.
What can music play when it comes to that?
Are you a musician?
I am a musician.
I figure you are. Well, I'm gonna have to listen to some of your tracks now. You know, Leo, I'm sure will have. You know, he can give me a little taste. You know, it's interesting when Raul, was it? When we were talking earlier and you were asking about what challenges I went through, I do think that especially when I was young, music was a empowering factor in my life. And learning to appreciate not only the stories that were told in music and how music could capture emotions that sometimes were difficult to express yourself, but also just seeing the skill and talent of musicians and seeing somebody like John Legend, who was just here, who, let me just say about John, you know, there's some musicians, they've got to have a studio and, you know, all kinds of producer. John can sit down at a piano or even if there's no piano, and it just suddenly sounds, it's tight, it's magic. And so appreciating the discipline, work, skill that was brought to bear in music, even though I was not a skilled musician myself, that taught me something about, you want to be good at something, this is what you got to do. You know, very few people are going to end up being NBA players. The odds of any individual young man, unless he looks like Zion Williamson, to be in the NBA are very, very, very low. The odds of that same young person being a doctor or a lawyer, much higher, or being a business person. The same is true to some degree with music, in the sense that to be excellent, in some ways, it's harder to be a great musician than it is to be, you know, other occupations that don't require such talent. But when I watched musicians, the same way I watched great athletes, what I always kept in mind as I was growing up was, man, they put in a lot of hours. They put in a lot of time. And even though I did not have those talents, I could apply that in my life, and that was important. And then music just brings joy, and joy is important. One of the things I love to do in the White House, we would have these music series where, well, they're still on, you can pull them up on YouTube. And we used to have everybody from Stevie Wonder to Prince to Beyonce to you name it, and it was a pretty good deal. It was almost like your own private concert. Very small stage, just a few seats. But they used to rehearse the day before. And they rehearsed in the East Room right below where my office was, where I was doing work, and I'd suddenly hear, you know, the bass is coming through the floor. And sometimes I'd go down the stairs and I would sit and watch their rehearsals. And it didn't matter how famous, how accomplished these artists were, man, when they were really focusing on the song and watching them collaborate and support each other and teach each other, no, you know, here's how this should sound, and here's how we should work this. And the generosity that they showed each other, that also taught me something, because most great music is not done in isolation. Most great music is a collaboration. And learning how to apply those lessons in life, where you are great because there is a team that makes you great. And that's true in sports, it's true in music, it's true in life. But Steph, feel free to chime in on your views on Drake or Kendrick.
I'm really tight with Drake, so.
He's a Toronto guy, man.
He's a Toronto guy. My wife is from Toronto.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So, yeah, you mess this family. That's family. But to all your point around, like, the strength in numbers mindset around how great things come to fruition, I'm an example of that, what we do on the court. And the joy that comes out of that is second to none. Because nothing great is done by yourself, like you said, and the memories that music has in terms of where you are in a certain time and place, you can hear a song and go right back to that moment. The same thing when I see a certain face, a teammate that I played with and we had a great moment, as soon as I see his face, I know, hey, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to enjoy the great moments and the things that we learn going through that. There's a lot of synergies there that are very, very memorable and impactful in terms of our experience doing great things for sure. I also would love to hear your music too. I'd love to hear your music too, so let me know.